Yeah, man. I did watch Ahsoka though.
Let's do it.
All right. So we finally get a consistently good Star Wars show. I think well, Andor was excellent, right? But it was a slow
Yeah,
burn,
yeah.
right? I think Mando season 2
Mm-hmm.
is probably the best like Star Wars show season that we've gotten.
Yeah,
And I love it. I think Andor is totally different. It's like Andor is Star Wars, but it just feels so different. And not that it doesn't, it feels disconnected, but it just feels it's a totally different approach,
yeah.
and I love it, and I think it's excellent. But this was like through and through very, it was Star Wars, dude. It was very prequely, and I loved it. I loved it. It was great. And it was consistent. Like every episode was good. Like we didn't have, there was no bad episodes, or I want to say mid episodes. If there's any mid episodes, was the what, episode 5 probably, because it was the one that, yeah, we found Ezra, but it was kind of like flat, kind of all around. But yeah, it was good. I think the ending was great. Spoilers. We're going into spoilers now. The Abel. I think, dude. What I tell you about Balin?
You know,
Who, bro? Who can take over? Because he was excellent, man. Only person I can.
I feel so bad.
Yeah, only person I can think of is Carl Urban.
I remember people saying Gerald Butler. I heard a few people saying.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah,
could see it.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that would no. You know what?
Is
That is not a
Disney
bad
Star Wars
choice.
gonna fork up the money? Is he gonna be willing to
Dude,
join? I
Gerard
don't
Butler
know,
does
but I'd
like
like to see
cheap.
it.
He does cheap movies now. He
He
don't care.
does, and I still watch him.
Yeah, he don't care, man. He'll do it.
No, man.
Yeah, I think I. You know what? I think he'll do it. So I think that's not a bad choice. Yeah,
Yeah,
Carl Urban's probably too busy, but he would probably be also a great
yeah.
choice. No, I think Gerald Butler would be a good choice. All right, so yeah, I mean that's very unfortunate, but it looks like the either Abeloth or the son, like he's after one of them, right? And it's clear that that's the path that he's chosen, and what he's been looking for, and that answers the question, setting up for something much bigger, right? That could be a season 2, or it could be the movie. I think that there should be, if you ask me, there should be a season 2, and then the movie, because I think there's too many loose ends that need to kind of like wrap up, or they can probably tie those ends on Mando, like
Mm-hmm. Yep.
that's another option there. So yeah, overall I really enjoyed it, right? And I think that flipping the script was a clever idea of like, yeah, now Ezra's not lost, now Ezra's back home with Hera, and now Sabine and Ahsoka are the ones that are stranded. So I think that was a good good switch there. Uh, Shinhati going back to the bandits, that was unexpected. I didn't really know what path she was gonna take, right? Um, we know that she's still kind of like reluctant on what her purpose is, so I guess we'll see more of that later. And yeah, throwing us back in the galaxy, prepping for something big over in Dathomir, and it looks like it was basically an army that they're prepping. An army of what? Night Sisters? I don't know. Zombos? Yeah, we got the Zombos, stormtroopers, and death troopers. So that was cool. So that's basically was confirmation, or sort of a confirmation of what the Night Troopers were. I don't think that all of them were necessarily zombies, but a good chunk of them, if not a select group of those Night Troopers were. But overall, man, I really enjoyed it. I think Dave did a great job, and I think Star Wars nerds are happy. It This is not a show for the casuals, and that it's unfortunate because it's very good. Like if you're a casual
Yeah.
watching this show, you're gonna be very lost about everything that's
Yeah.
happening, right?
Yeah.
But it's shreddy, and it was good. It was good overall, very good, man. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for more. So yeah,
Well said. Everything you said, I really, really appreciate and understand. And I think for me, what was so ironic was last week you go back to the episode and towards the end of our segment of when we talk, which Obi clipped it, we're talking about last episode 7, and I kind of predicted what I thought was going to happen. And generally speaking, they did exactly what I wanted. I said, I would love this. I'd love to see maybe that they kind of sneak in right to Thrawn's you know army, right? Well, not exactly happened that way, but you still got Ezra putting on the gear and pretending to be one of the
yeah,
troopers,
yeah,
right? So yeah, a little bit of that happened, right? I said I wanted them to lose. Well, we got that, right? They did lose, and that's definitive. It's definitive. It's not a question mark. It's not did they come. That war is done. He made it there. They lost. That was the whole goal of it, right? He was able to distract them and get to back to the galaxy. And then like I wanted it to be something new that was going on with Balin. And I still think that there's a very good chance. I think that you're still going upon something that we've seen before, right? Like we know the Mortis gods. We're familiar with that real sweaty stuff getting in Clone Wars. But I still think there's a chance that what is going to be taught to us is going to be something, a new layer to the Force that we haven't understood before. Like you're taking, and so I love about Filoni. He takes on the foundation, you know, not throwing away what was and what was before, very respectful of these things, but just builds upon it in a fresh way and brings new life into it
yep,
without having to trash what was. Um, and I think that's what Star Wars needs, right? You mentioned, it was very prequel esque, right? Like I love that it was very prequel esque, and it was you have your Anakin Skywalker stuff, and very consistently referenced, between Thrawn, like we will not negotiate with the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. That is not up for grabs. He's making that very clear.
yeah,
As Ahsoka and Sabine and Ezra are mounted onto these creatures, chasing back, and he's like, just shoot them down best you can, anything to distract them from getting to that point. Just so well done on a thematic, a dramatic standpoint. And again, not just okay, great, all this action, and then the last 10 minutes, Thrawn is dead, and then you move on. Like they're taking a very strong character, a character Star Wars needs, hasn't had a strong villain since Darth Vader,
yeah,
that you're now bringing in. That I believe, like Thrawn is no Kylo Ren. He will not turn to the light. this is this is a bad dude, and Star Wars
yeah.
needed that, and I think it's super exciting.
See, and then it goes back to how did this affect? I mean, what's gonna get retconned from the sequels because there's no mention of this. Like this is to me, honestly speaking, right? I mean, we could probably see the rise of the First Order. It's too early, in my opinion.
Yeah,
This is what 5 years after
right. You need 20 more
Return. You
years.
need like 25 more years. Ray's not even born yet.
No.
It's one of those things, right? So what's not clear in the sequel trilogy is how long has the First Order been a problem? Like it's like, oh, the First Order's here. How long have they been dealing with this? We don't know. It's kind of like the Empire in back in A New Hope. It's like, oh, I mean, how long has the Empire been? It's like, well, it's not specified until the prequels, and it said, that when it's established that it's, 19 years, that the Empire has been ruling the galaxy. So they really don't specify how long have they been dealing with this threat. Um, I don't know because I mean, based on the information that's out there from the sequel, the sequels is that the New Republic doesn't even have a defense council anymore because they don't have any weapons. They don't have a like they went crazy. They declared like super peace. And and there's like let's not have any weapons, right? And that's why the resistance have to who do this underground thing to go against the First Order. So like I don't know, right? So something they gotta give us more info, and I hope that that they're probably gonna end up retconning a bunch of stuff because I think that's what's happening. What's happening right now is probably even more crucial than the rise of the First Order, with like
Yeah,
someone as important
yeah.
as Thrawn coming back to the galaxy and doing whatever he's gonna do. Um, but it's just that now things don't make sense, and that's a Star Wars is back. I think right in a good way because again I think the show was very good, well written, characters were done well, casting was top notch. But then you go back to where how do you fit it in the continuity? And now it's like because you could fit Mando just fine,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's more a small, more contained. Like this is a big deal event,
Yes.
and how do you make this fit within the continuity? And I think that's I guess the challenge that Dave is gonna have. Uh, Kathleen Kennedy has 24 days left on on Lucasfilm. That's my prediction, man. End of October, dude. We're gonna find out.
Wow.
I'm still standing by it. I'm not betting anything, but I'm not a betting man. I mean, if I were a betting man, I would put my money on that. But since I only
Wow.
bet in
In food,
yeah,
pineapple and shrimp.
exactly. I was gonna say edibles, but that would play wrong. But
Yeah, yeah. Wrong idea.
yeah, exactly. So um, I that's gonna be their challenge now. That's gonna be
Yeah.
how do you make this all make sense? And I think it's a good problem to have because it's the people like it. Like it's been the reception has been very good. Fans are happy. I'm happy. Like I'm glad that
Yeah.
Star Wars is back, and I had a great time with it. Right. And they some rumor that I heard is that this mixes into the Jude Law show. What's it called again? Skeleton Crew.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Skeleton Crew.
yeah. Skeleton Crew is gonna, I guess, connect to this somehow.
Wow.
That's what I heard.
That'd
So
be great.
yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, any closing thoughts? I think it was very good, and I want to hear what you got to say.
Oh my gosh. I have so many thoughts that we could talk forever about this thing because there's so many theories, possibilities. But like what you hit on, I think what people are asking the question is where is this going? Where are we going with this? And as a Star Wars fan, I have to imagine that um the Filoni verse truly is going to connect, right? And the projects that have been in the Filoni verse are three of them at the moment, right? You have Ahsoka, you have Mando, and you have Boba Fett. Those three are in the Filoni verse definitively, right? Andor is not in the Filoni verse. It's a part of Star Wars, and it's going to continue. We know we're going to get our second season, which will
Yeah,
connect directly to the events of
and
Rogue
and,
One. I
and
think
that's
that's great,
exactly yeah, and that's
and that's
already connected pretty well. I think. Yeah.
but even in that, Obed, I if whatever they're setting up for this, you can technically put some of the groundwork in Andor as well. You can at some point say if there was some type of thing, person, I don't know, Thrawn shows up because he's been around technically since that time, right? Somewhere that he was planting seeds as a young man. Like there's things you can do if you really want to say we are literally connecting this all up to this one major thing
Bro,
if you really want.
Thrawn was around in that
He
time.
was. He was because he
Could you
knows Anakin's. I
imagine
know
the?
your
Can
master.
you imagine Thrawn showing up in Andor season 2?
I'm telling you, bro. I would not write it off. I
That
would not
would
write
be
it off.
crazy.
And he would fit in very well with the type of style of that show as well.
Oh yeah, it's like
So
looking for
it's
this. Like I mean,
yep,
he dealt in more of a more of a big deal kind of
yeah,
scenario, but his job was technically like find the rebels
basically.
and but that was his thing, right? So man,
Yep, and he's
yeah,
not a grand
yeah,
admiral yet. Maybe he's like a lieutenant or something.
yeah.
But you can connect it in there.
Well,
But yeah, I
Andor is
wouldn't.
like 10 years. It's like about 10 years. It's like around the
Right,
same time as Kenobi, right?
right.
Yeah. So
So I'm saying you connected there, but just looking on paper, you are going to get, if they do this right, Obed, you are going to get your Infinity War Endgame type thing that Star Wars has needed. You're going to get it.
yeah,
You're gonna if they do this right, and I don't want to get because I know Star Wars fans we love to predict the future, but I think it's a part of the fun, right? But like you're going to have your movie needs to be the heir to the Empire. People understand that technically now that the Palpatine is gone, he is the rightful heir to the Empire, and he's going to try and make a return of the Empire in full power, right? Bring together the Galactic Empire and the galaxy reunited under this type of rule and power, right? He's going to pick the remnants together. And for that, you need to have people who know what that was before come back in, right? Boba Fett would have to come back into this at some capacity. Mando's gonna have to
yeah.
come in at some capacity. All the Mandalorians with Bo
With
Katan,
Bo,
they're
yeah.
gonna have to show up, right?
Luke,
You're gonna need to have obviously you have your Ahsoka and and Ezra and you're gonna have Zeb and you're gonna have Hera and you're gonna have
yeah,
them all in it, right? And you're very likely to also have Luke Skywalker. You're probably gonna have those characters have to show up in this next thing, and that kind of makes you excited when you say maybe we didn't see this big story at first, but it actually right now makes sense when you're wrapping up certain storylines, and yet somehow, some way, Filoni's so good making them self-contained. Like The Mandalorian on its own is a fine show. It does help, like takes over Boba Fett and helps it, right? And it did help with this because you had Ahsoka first
yeah,
in
yeah,
Mando, and you had her in Boba Fett. But there's a very strong connection here of whatever it is they're doing. And I just hope they don't rush it. I'd love to see, like you mentioned, another season. But I also kind of would like to see a movie or two that's at least in this world, depending on how they go with it. I'm just so pumped. Star Wars is back, guys. This is not for, like you said, the casuals. This is for the fans. This is for the
yeah,
people who love Star Wars.
yeah.
We love all the different, even the stuff that's for controversial. We watched it all, and that's what they're going to give to us. The sky's the limit.
Except the Acolyte, I'm still not watching that.
I mean, it hasn't come out yet,
That's
right?
come on, yeah.
It ain't real till it's out.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Flash. I mean,
We know how that ended up.
judging by some people, it's still not real.
I ain't seen it. I don't know what you're talking
Oh, what?
about.
Wow, man. You're like
Sorry.
putting it
Couldn't
out
resist.
there. Yeah. Well, I mean, I like I said, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the full universe, more of it, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, good stuff, man. It was good. I'm happy. I'm happy because I was hoping that you know it had little to none interference. I think, and that was good. So
Yeah.